Hello there, my name is Mackenzie. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for being here. Today we are doing another anticipated releases video for April of 2022. We have more releases. I think, every month that I go to do one of these, I think to myself that I couldn't possibly always have books that I am excited for, but I am. I try to get more and more selective as the months go on, and still I am interested in more and more books that are coming out. And April is no different because I have 10 books that I want to talk to you about that are coming out in that month. This month? No, next month, because this will still be coming out in March. On April 5th, there are 3 books that are coming out that I am pretty excited for. First, we have In a Garden Burning Gold by Rory Power. This has a 3.76 on Goodreads right now. It's an adult paranormal fantasy with LGBT elements, and it is the first in a series. So this is from the author that wrote Wilder Girls. I did not read Wilder Girls, however, I still want to read Wilder Girls, and I have heard a lot of good things about how creepy it is and how good it is and the characters. So I'm still interested in that, and I'm interested in this. So we are following twins Rhea and Lexos, who have spent 100 years keeping the people of their father's unstable country in line. But with an independence movement gaining ground, the twins must take matters into their own hands. Yes, I love immortal beings. I love this godlike thing that's happening. I love that we're following twins. All of this hitting the mark for me. Political intrigue is there. It sounds wonderful. It is the first in a series though, so I will be very interested to see how it progresses, and I will be keeping an eye on this. Because I still have so many series that I need to get through anyways. So this may be on the back burner, but I still have it in mind. Next, we have Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Tehlor. This has a 4.10 on Goodreads right now. YA historical fantasy mystery. So this is being pitched for fans of Caraval and the Night Circus, but after I read the description, it seems more like it's gonna be the Night Circus and Spirited Away, like a mashup of those two. I didn't read Caraval though, so I'm not going to entirely exclude it from not being similar because I have no idea. But you tell me. Set against the backdrop of a Belle Epoque inspired hotel, which is like that time right before World War I, I believe it was saying. This hotel travels to a different place every morning, and Janny and Zosa interview to join the staff, but once inside, Janny quickly discovers their contracts are unbreakable, and beneath the glamour, the hotel is hiding dangerous secrets. Also, they're sisters, and Zosa gets trapped, and so Janny's trying to help her out. So really reminded me of Spirited Away, and they pitched it to me as the Night Circus, which I'm pretty sure is only because the hotel moves relatively frequently without you knowing where it's going to be every time. And that wasn't a huge part of the Night Circus. It added some intrigue about it, but I wouldn't say that yes, on a superficial level, that is what the Night Circus is about. However, because it is more of a character-driven story, I wouldn't say that that's all it takes to be Night Circus-esque. But that's my favorite book, so who knows. Last book I want to talk about coming out on the 5th is Shah and the Nectar of Immortality by Roshani Chakshi. This has a 4.64 on Goodreads right now. This is number 5 in the Pandava series, middle grade fantasy mythology. It is the last installment of this series. So I'm not going to give you the description of this book, but I'm going to tell you that the series is following Shah, who needs the 5 legendary Pandava brothers who are heroes from the Hindu epic poem and journey to the kingdom of death. Yes! I have been so interested in this series because it feels so high stakes for a middle grade. Poor Aru, releases a demon in the first book, and she just wants to fit in, and like, oh, I feel for her. So I'm really excited to get into this series. I was waiting for this 5th book to come out. I think I have, where are they? I have the first 3 in paperback, so I need to get the last 2 in paperback, and then I will be able to read that in its completion, because these are like middle grade, and like I learned my lesson with the Paulo Santiago series, and like I loved this first book so much, and I was just so upset that I didn't have the next one. And like I remember being that way with Percy Jackson, and it's not like it's not a wonderful experience, it is. I am a binge reader. I don't like to wait for series, mainly because I start to forget things that end up happening and that could contribute to a better reading experience if I remembered all the things that happened. But I just can't. I am actually annotating my books again, and it's helping me remember more, so I don't know if I'm going to grow out of that, but like I just started and it was so amazing. Like I'm starting to remember things so much more, and like I've only done it for like 3 or 4 books right now, but like I don't know who I am. I've never done that before, except for when they required it in school, and like now I just have a pencil in all of my books, and I don't know like how that even happened. Okay, sidebar. I know. Let's put this away. All right, on April 12th, there are 2 books that are coming out that I want to talk about. First is An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X.R. Pan, 4.07 on Goodreads right now. It's a YA fantasy retelling romance. It's kind of pitched as Romeo and Juliet meets Chinese mythology. Because I'm not an expert, or nor am I an expert. I am not an expert, nor do I know too much at all about Chinese mythology. So when I was reading the synopsis, I didn't really get what the myth was that we were retelling. It did kind of seem like Romeo and Juliet-esque, maybe just a little bit, maybe because like they're just 2 people, like their love is going to be difficult, or being together will be difficult, but like does everything like that have to be Romeo and Juliet? So we're following 2 characters, Hunter, who is haunted by his family's past mistakes, and Luna, who is stifled by her parents' expectations, and like romance ensues. I don't need much, and also we're diversifying, and I like the cover. I do. And I'm not going to be embarrassed about putting books on this list just because of interesting covers and not much else, because this is just my anticipated releases. I could very well end up not getting any of these books, but I'm keeping an eye on them, and should I end up hearing bad things about the story, I just take them off the list. That's all that happens. Also on April 12th, we have And Then I Woke Up by Malcolm Devlin. This has a 3.69 on Goodreads right now. Adult sci-fi horror novella. I am following a lot more publishers on Instagram now, and now I know when all of these things are coming out, and this is how I heard about this book. So this is a world reeling from an unusual plague. I know. But hang on. Monsters now lurk in the streets while survivors arm themselves and roam the countryside in packs. But when the disease affects how reality is perceived, it's hard to be certain of anything. I have such high hopes for this. Like, it's a novella, so like I really don't think I'm going to need, and I think that'll be perfect. I don't need a full novel about this, but I think it could be just creepy, interesting enough, and maybe just enough like what has happened with COVID to like be a bit of catharsis, but also kind of creepy, and like exactly kind of what I need to process what's happened the last 2 years, you know? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. All right, 3 books coming out on April 19th. One is Sofi and the Bone Song by Adrienne Tooley. This is a 4.42 on Goodreads right now, YA fantasy romance, LGBT. It is a standalone. It looks like it, I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's because most YAs that come out these days are series, but like it emphasized the fact that it was a standalone. I don't know. So we have a young musician who sets out to expose her rival for illegal use of magic, only to discover the deception goes deeper than she could have imagined. And like, I hate whoever writes the synopsis for YA stories. Honestly, it's trash. Like, the synopsis is always everything that happens within the first 50 pages. And it's like, why do that? Why do that? Something like this is perfectly fine. Maybe if you want to give a little bit more detail, how there's like a musical competition, or like Sofi had been training for so long and her rival is not very well practiced, you know, something like that. But you don't have to tell me everything that happens within the first 50 pages. And that's what this synopsis felt like. And I'm a little upset by it. Not like I'm not still interested in reading the book, but it did upset me. Also, Spear by Nicola Griffith. This is a 4.41 on Goodreads. Adult historical fiction retelling fantasy with LGBT elements. We have, I don't know what it's retelling. I don't know what it's retelling. The synopsis didn't tell me, and I don't know by just reading the synopsis. So maybe you can tell me. And I am reading you words for words what I picked out of the synopsis, okay? The girl knows she has a destiny before she knows her name. Brimming with magic and eager to test her strength, she breaks her covenant with her mother and travels to court to meet great knights and steal hearts of beautiful women. And like, that's all I needed to know. Sign me up. Get me the next copy. I'm so excited for that. Yes. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Arya Stark when she goes through that whole like a girl has no name. I know a lot of people didn't like that part in the show. I don't know necessarily how I felt about it. I feel like it could have been done a little bit better, and also like more of an emphasis on like these things about like giving up your identity and the way their like assassin court actually worked. Like that would have been really cool. And that's what this kind of feels like. And I'm really excited for it. I'm so excited. Maybe temper expectations, Mackenzie. I just started to get so excited, but like I have to remember that even in doing these things, I can't get too high of an expectation, because you will always be let down because it's not exactly as you expect. But if you just let it simmer, you'll have a good time. Okay, last book coming out on the 19th is Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is the second in her series, 4.29 on Goodreads right now, adult sci-fi fantasy, LGBT elements. I don't know if this series is a duology or if there is going to be more of them. I think it's just a duology. All right, I just looked it up and Goodreads is telling me only that this is book 2. There is no entry for book 3. We don't have a title. We have literally nothing about it. So I have no idea if this is just a duology or if there will be more books. However, I'm really interested in this. Honestly, I feel like I've heard enough reviews about this, both good and bad, for me to discern that I think that I will really enjoy this. I think this is multi-perspective, kind of like pretty dark but heavy sci-fi in the sense that we're talking about celestial prophecies, but a lot of political intrigue and forbidden magic, and really kind of based on like ancient civilizations. And like I feel like that's all my shit. Like I just love that. And I can't wait. And I'm probably gonna pick up both the books when Fevered Star comes out. Now the eternal question, do I get them in hardback, or do I wait and get them both in softcover? I love a floppy softcover. I really do. One book on April 26th and then one on April 28th for some reason. That kind of threw me. So on April 26th, we have Nettle and Bone by Kingfisher. This is a 4.45 on Goodreads, adult horror fantasy. I've heard a lot about this author. I hear their name being brought up pretty frequently with books that I feel like I'd be interested in, so I'm ready to give them a chance. We have Mara, who seeks help from a powerful grave witch to save her sister from her abusive prince husband. Mara is offered the tools to kill him if she can complete 3 tasks. Yes, give it to me. Sounds dark, sounds creepy, sounds fantastical, like fairy book, but make it adult and horrifying. Yes, I'm enjoying. April 28th has Elektra by Jennifer Saint, 4.12 on Goodreads, adult mythology retelling, following 3 women of Greek mythology history that we know about. Maybe you don't, I kind of do. We have Clemestra, sister of Helen and wife of Agamemnon. We have Cassandra, princess of Troy and cursed by Apollo to see the future, and Elektra, daughter of Cymestra and Agamemnon. And I kind of don't need to know much more about it. I'm interested, and I've kind of been on this like kick where I want to acquire like all of these stories told about women from like mythologies and well-known stories, but from their perspective. That's really what's interesting me these days. And after I saw that it was kind of like all three, and from Jennifer Saint, who is an author that I don't think I've read from before. However, I know she writes a lot of mythology books. So yeah, pretty excited about that. Pretty excited about all those books that I just mentioned, all 10 of them. Can't wait. So we'll see how all of it progresses. I can't wait to see reviews. If you're excited for any of these books, let me know down in the comments. Tell me any books that you are excited about that I didn't mention. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!